going on, everybody? It's Geoff Grammer with the Albuquerque Journal, and I'm joined as always by Sean Reider, who is, I have no idea which directions the cameras are pointing this week. I just know what it looks like on my screen, and it looks like I'm pointing to him. I don't think I really am.
We're actually doing it, like, for once.
Are we?
Yeah.
So it looks right on your side?
Look at me. Wow, we actually got it. We have it right. We're good.
Wow.
Rich Green, I know if you're watching, you are going to love this show, then.
Let's call it a day. All right, so we are at the Todium Center, and this is our Albuquerque Journal Live weekly show. We are 3 days, 23 hours, 32 minutes, and 11 seconds away from kickoff, Saturday's kickoff, 1 p.m. kickoff against Colorado State, the Rams of Colorado State.
The Rams, the 2-6 Rams, 2-7 Rams, 1-4 in the Mountain West.
If only we had a beat writer.
Fired head coach Jay Norvell early this season, 2 games ago, coming off I don't have the score in front of me. Yeah, I wish we did have a beat writer.
I don't have it in front of me. I'm actually linking up our show to
coming off a 42-10 loss to UNLV at Colorado State, and then a 28-0 loss to rival Wyoming in the Border War a couple weeks ago as well. Tyson Summers is the interim head coach. He's the former head coach at Georgia Southern. Gata. Longtime coordinator too. He was just brought in this last offseason as the defensive coordinator as well. So yeah, big game though in a lot of respects. I'm sure a lot of people watching this have been Richie. What's up, Richie? We need your thoughts on Dabo and Joe Shane.
Is that what we need?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I think it's pretty interesting. Albertson Stadium is still under construction. We're looking at University Stadium. Yep. No construction here. I think that's worth noting too.
There is a rebuild going on in there, but there is no renovation.
I want to let everybody know that I was unplugged for a lot of the weekend. Like, I wasn't really on Twitter as much. I wasn't really paying attention. I don't have Grammar's tweet notifications on anymore. No offense. I can't believe I did that for like a year and a half. It was pretty.
I used to laugh.
It was pretty intense.
So I used to laugh when I found out that there were some assistant coaches that were required to have my tweet notifications.
Oh my God.
And I would tweet like at 2 a.m, just say like, anybody up? And it would drive people crazy.
I had no idea what any of that was about. The first graphic I saw was the high school graphic.
Yep.
And what's going on?
He thought the first graphic I made was about the proximity of my high school to Mountain West schools.
Well, I was like, why is everybody so damn mad?
I know. Well,
all
right. Let's
Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans.
Happy Veterans Day, Ice Baby on YouTube. And I'm going to go ahead and jump in if you're ready. Yeah, we got a special guest today.
I need a headset.
Nah, you got a mic there.
Yeah, you're good to go.
Got your own mic.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have New Mexico Athletic Director Fernando Lovo.
And check out what we do
coming
here.
on. I think he's going to set that camera. Yeah,
we're going to
do big grammar.
Too much of me.
We got that.
Look at that.
Look at that. We can
That's
even take
high
these.
level.
We could even take these. We'll just keep it.
Wait,
like
is that the same setup you have after games for basketball press conferences?
It is.
I like it.
So after games, though, I use this little
you do?
contraption with my phone.
It's a different connection.
I just put the top on and record on my phone.
I like it.
So, yeah. There you go.
Thanks for having me on.
Fern, what's up, man?
What's going on? Not a lot going on.
Even if there was, what's bigger than the still yet to be really named Albuquerque Journal Sports Live weekly show?
There's no name.
No.
No name.
We need a sponsor.
Get some title sponsorship going.
We have any ideas?
Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Ideally, Mountain Dew.
We could do Mountain Dew.
Ooh, Mountain Dew.
We could do
That's a good one.
Something grape related.
Grapes,
I don't know if we need to do grapes.
Yeah,
we will talk
or
grapes
blueberries.
on the show.
The premier grape producer in the country should be the title sponsor of this. I don't know who that is.
Pretty darn good sponsor.
We'll find out.
Pretty darn good.
I like it.
Fern, we were just telling them that we are 3 days, 23 hours, 28 minutes, and 30 seconds away from kickoff. And there's no renovations or anything going on in this stadium.
Nothing.
But there is a rebuild. And part of that rebuild is what you were doing by getting fans in the stands.
Yeah.
There's not a literal rebuild, just in case anybody wants to.
We'll stay away from the charts or you sent me that chart the other night, and I said to you, I was impressed with your chart making skills.
I had no idea though that it was going to turn into what it turned into.
And then we started to have a conversation about what it meant, and all of a sudden I looked in the morning and it really caught on pretty quickly. But no, yeah, you're right. I mean, we've you've reported and you wrote about it, and we've had conversations about how we're trending in terms of our overall attendance this year. And I think if we continue to do what we do, we're gonna, just like Jason has been able to do, go into a bowl game for the first time in almost a decade. I think we'll be able to set some new standards for our attendance that we haven't seen in about a decade, and that's really exciting. We've worked really hard. My team's been really trying to uncover every stone. I know you wrote a few weeks ago, we did some stuff with Albuquerque Public Schools, and we've done some stuff this week with our first responders and Salute to Service, and really trying to lean into that. I think you saw last night, this is a unique time of year here. Lobo basketball starting back up, and obviously 2-0 there, and had some exciting games, but football is right in the mix. I mean, when I got here, my vision was for football, and I know I spoke with Jason, when we're going through the hiring process, is we need to be playing meaningful games in November, and we certainly are. I mean, everything's still ahead of us, 1 week at a time, and we need our fans here to show up and support and make a true home field advantage for us.
That's part of what, through the years, there's a long history, long before any one of us up here, and I'm the old guy up here, but long before any of us were around, like Lobo basketball meant something here that, football has never caught up to that same community bond with the sport. But part of it through the years was there weren't meaningful games in November. Once the overlap happened, football was pretty much done.
Yeah.
So that was a big part of it. It will be nice to see what happens if consistently this happens, because it's not like football's forever been bad. Yeah. They've been to some bowls, right? There have been meaningful games. So it has overlapped some. But if you build up some consistency where the November overlap is multi-meaningful games across the street and here, then we'll see what it is. But there shouldn't be any pitting against each other. There through the years, there's a lot of, frankly, ego involved sometimes with head coaches, but you and both of these head coaches all came in at the same time. There was no time to build any kind of ego. I've been here longer than that guy or anything like that. They're both stepping up, one from an FCS level to an FBS level as a head coach, one from a smaller program in basketball to a bigger program. Like, you guys are all in this together, and that's somewhat of the kind of hidden blessing, I think, to what you took over at the time you took over. Yeah. I don't know if you think of it as a blessing having football and basketball in your first 3 months.
I think I've gone from 3 gray hairs to 23 gray hairs in my first 11 months here. So, but no, I think you're spot on. I mean, we, all coming in here at the same time and talking about the vision of what we all wanted this place to be. Part of it was, the continuity across the department and making sure that, obviously football and men's basketball are our 2 biggest revenue generating sports, but even more than that, I think the passion and the energy they drive in the community, I think it's really important for both of them to be good. And I think it's really critical for us to play off of each other in there. And I think Eric and Jason have done a great job with that. Clearly there's a niche of basketball fans that go to the pit that we need to get them to come to University Stadium. Yep. And I do think there's, it's probably smaller in terms of the other side, to it with folks that come to watch football, they go to basketball. But look, at the end of the day, we need our non-conference games and basketballs to be packed out. We just don't need the San Diego States and the Utah States of the world. And then for us to play a team that we haven't beaten, 13, 15, whatever it is, years
since Sean was born.
It's really cool. So, no, I think it's been really nice to have that sort of continuity across the department. And you're right. I think coming in together with Eric and Jason and myself, we all talked about this, and for it to be, kind of coming to fruition right now is really cool for our community, I think.
And part of that's on display, right? Where obviously X starts first and football starts first, and X hitting home runs, in the community with his, with the social team that you guys have, making him look really good with all these videos and all that. Eric may not be this exact same kind of person, but what he is he's doing exactly what you hired him to do, put in a system and take a nice, calm, kind of deliberate approach, maybe a little bit, but his calmness is part of what you hired him for. He's not getting in over, getting emotional about, there are some oh man, are they really going to shoot this many threes? Oh man, what do we got going on? And football's doing so good, and this guy hasn't done a video. He went on video last night and said, "Ghost, we got this 2-for-1 deal." He's on board, and X obviously been on board. It is interesting that the few times that the 2 sports have been good at the same time, there has been attempts, I think, sometimes to sort of pit them against each other, and I just don't see that really happening here. Obviously, you're not going to say it is, even if it was, but I will ask you, do you see any of that?
Not at all. And I'm being completely honest. I mean, I see. what I do see and what I feel in our community is an excitement that this is happening, you know, and I think an understanding that it's critical for us as a department for this to happen. I think our fans have embraced that. And, you know, you said something about confidence and in terms of Eric and Jason, and they're both extremely confident in what they know their process is, right? It's worked at previous stops. You know, they don't let the noise get to them. And they really have embraced, you know, in different ways. Obviously, Jason, you know, he's been an Emmy Award winning actor over the last few months. And, you know, Eric's been doing it in a different approach, but same mindset, right? He's invested in this community. He's invested in this place. And to see both really being successful at the same time right now, we got to keep it going. There's a long road ahead of us, but I think it's really cool that it's happening right now.
We do got, just so you know, one of our regulars, Richie Flores, is on. And he has the very poetic Lovo.
What's up, Richie?
He should be working, but he is watching this now because you were on. I'm sure he'd be watching anyway. But,
of course.
But he is watching because you.
How many like just consistent listeners and watchers do you have?
We got some diehards. I think
that's awesome.
Probably
Richie for sure. Yeah, front of the pack.
Richie's waiting for our show every week. Yeah, we definitely have some regulars. That,
My mom.
Good.
Yep. My mother.
Hi, Sean's mom.
Yeah, Susie hasn't left a comment yet. Let's see. She hasn't left a comment yet, but she usually comes on to let us know what's for dinner.
What's for dinner? Yeah.
Wow.
It was a lasagna soup last week.
Last week was lasagna soup, or it was a choice.
Castellini lasagna. I don't know what choice they made either. Yeah. So, Mom, if you can let us know.
Never had lasagna soup.
She made a schnitzel one day.
She made a schnitzel.
Sean says she makes a good
preempted by you talking about schnitzel the show before, I believe.
Was I?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, nice. And then there was the one week that no dinner tonight. Dad was getting leftover spaghetti because she had book club.
Steve was getting leftover. Yeah, she hosted book club last night. She hosted book club.
Last night.
All
right. We should ask her about the book when she comes on.
Where's Mom? In Michigan?
Mom's in Michigan, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Big college sports fans.
Yeah.
Not just because of Sean.
She was locked in on the Indiana game on Saturday, Indiana Penn State, and then Ohio State. They've been busy. They've been busy around the house.
I missed the Indiana game. I saw the highlights. That was wild.
I couldn't believe he got that foot in. That was unreal.
Yeah, it's a tough place to play in state college.
You know, Sean's sister's involved in college athletics too.
Really?
Well, no, she was. Yeah, she was a DFO at Wofford.
Oh, that's right. You told me that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome.
Where was she last year?
She was at Western Kentucky.
Western Kentucky last year. Yeah. Okay. So there you go.
College
athletics. More than just Sean writing about it here. All right, lasagna soup is the bomb, says Aztec to Tacoma.
Aztec to Tacoma. Let's go. Aztec to Tacoma, also a diehard at.
What's going on, Aztec to Tacoma? I think you may have tweeted at me once or twice.
Yeah, right? All right.
Sorry if I didn't answer.
How about this? We will get back to more specifics. We got Larry saying we need Coach Eck to wrestle a bear at halftime at the pit.
I think he would be in. Wait, I saw something.
He probably would be
on the way here. Did Coach have a comment about cavemen or elk?
Yeah, so I gotta get this video out. But he was asked a question about kind of, you know, it was noted. I think it was Jared Chester.
It's gonna be the viral one of the week.
Okay.
I think Jared Chester was the one who asked it from KRQE about kind of noting like, look, it's a 3-game winning streak. Guys are feeling good. Like, how do you fight that kind of complacency? And I could see it like in Jason's eyes, like, because like when he's about to like give like that kind of answer,
he has a little bit of a grin. Like he knows it's about to come. He doesn't hide it very well. He doesn't have the best poker face. Like he kind of grinned, like he knew he was about to give one.
Like, and his tone kind of shifts a little bit. And you're like, and
a little bit of a shake.
I'm like, all right, I got to get ready to like start typing something out. And he's like, it's like the cavemen who are, you know, back in the day, like hunting elk and all that, you know, like if they kill 3 elk, they're probably feeling pretty good and all that.
Yeah. But we got to,
and they're less inclined to kill more elk.
Yeah. He said it's human nature to kind of relax.
I don't know if cavemen even hunted elk. Like, I don't know. Like,
I'm not sure either.
Sure they did.
I'm gonna look that up though.
Yeah,
can't wait to see it.
Yes, but yeah, and he said, you know, it's human nature to kind of get complacent and relax when you got a pile of elk corpses. I think he said,
but you got to keep killing elk.
He said, but you got to keep killing elk. He said, and we got to keep these guys on focused on the task at hand, basically. So
viral moment.
Just because they are bowl eligible does not mean so. Well, let me ask you this, because this comes up every single week by the same people sometimes too. What would it take? As though you guys are trying not to play in the New Mexico Bowl, but that's not the case. But what are the scenarios in your mind where New Mexico Lobo football is not in the New Mexico Bowl this year?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, so the bowl selection process is, from a conference level is pretty straightforward in terms of if you don't have a CFP representative, the first place Mountain West team is slotted to go to the LA Bowl. And then I think after that, I'm fairly certain that the third place team would go to the Arizona Bowl. And then after that, really, it's just a selection process that, ESPN kind of goes through with the bowls to really, pick everybody else. And so, what exact permutations would have to happen for us, not to be playing here at the end of December? To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure or privy to that.
Symbieta is going to make sure it happens.
Yeah.
And for context, I think ESPN Events has the New Mexico Bowl. I think they have the Hawaii Bowl.
Yes.
The Idaho Potato Bowl. Yep. And then what am I missing?
Well, Hawaii's already taken 2, though.
Hawaii's already taken, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They have one more that Mountain West can go to, I believe, don't they?
Yeah,
maybe
it'll come to me. But to answer your question, I there isn't the exact science behind it.
Sure.
I'm not privy to that piece, but I think Jason's talked about it. I mean, and I won't be bashful. I mean, I think it would be a really cool moment for us, I was here last year for the game, and I pictured, the Lobos playing in this game and what it would mean for this community. And I think we would have a really good turnout.
I think so too. Yeah.
And it would be a great thing for, you can do enough, even if you're not traveling for a bowl game, to make it feel like one. And, we've started some of those conversations to make sure that, this is a really cool experience. And I think it'd be a really good reward for our players, for our program, and really for our community. Jason talks about being Albuquerque's team all the time and New Mexico's team. So I think it would kind of build on that that vision that he's had since he's gotten here. So
we'll bring back the lowriders for the for
lead the team right out or be let out with a lowrider. That'd be cool.
Cool.
I like it.
I'm going to pop in a couple quick comments
absolutely.
here. More caveman graphics. Josh is suggesting. Excited to see what drama you stir up today, Geoff. And Susie.
Yeah. Hi, boys and Fernando.
Oh, hey, Susie.
They did the cannellini Italian sausage bean. It was really, really good. And tonight is salad of leftover flank steak. Oh, my gosh, from Book Club. Mom, good stuff. Flank steak with hot honey marinade.
Hot honey marinade.
I don't know if this is an interactive conversation, but I'd like to ask Susie, what's the secret to getting flank steak to not be chewy?
Ooh.
I haven't had a successful
Susie, you're on the clock.
Flank steak it just hasn't been to my liking. So Susie, if you're able to solve that riddle for me, you're already a fan favorite, but you'll be my favorite if you can solve that for me.
And I feel obligated since you were part of the press box April 18th press box show where we made on behalf of Sean, by the way, made the bet that he has to
on behalf of me.
Yeah, on behalf of you, the bowl blueberry bet.
Yeah.
Where he will have to eat blueberries at some point because they're bowl eligible.
Yeah.
We're still working on figuring all that out.
What did I agree to with the marshmallow?
March Madness marshmallows.
Okay.
Yeah, March Madness marshmallows.
But you've had a marshmallow, right?
I have. I've actually had it a few times because I hope by the third or fourth time it would change, and it's a texture thing, kind of like the steak. So if Susie can figure out how to not have a chewy flank steak, maybe she can figure out the marshmallow piece. I don't know.
All right, marshmallows and flank steak.
And
the combo there.
She did make it very clear to me that Sean was exposed in his childhood to blueberries, to grapes, to all these
Grammer
things.
latched onto this bit and was like walking around the office like, "Can you believe Sean's never had a blueberry or grape and all that?"
You want to go through the whole list?
You latched onto the bit.
Skittles.
He's never even had Skittles.
No, not Skittles.
He's had an apple slice, but never taken a bite of an apple.
Taken like a bite out of an apple.
That's the best thing to take a bite out the apple.
But I love like apple crisp ice cream.
Yeah,
like I think that's really good.
But a bite out of an apple just seems.
You think I live in an orchard, brother? Like,
but you went blueberry picking when you didn't eat a blueberry.
Well,
I would say in the Lovo household, and we're getting really into the weeds here. One of the biggest disagreements amongst the kids and my wife is mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Ooh.
I am a huge mint chocolate chip ice cream fan. Are you guys?
It's fine.
It's okay.
I like something with caramel in it, like
caramel?
yeah. I mean, look, I don't turn down very much ice cream. Look at me. But
do they have Schwann's out here? Like Schwann's, like the food delivery service and all that?
I think
never heard of it.
Schwann's, I think it went out of business, but like we would always get like the Schwann's mint chocolate chip ice creams, like the cones.
Solid.
And I'd have like 4, and then my dad would just like take the rest and eat them like at night and all that. But
interesting. All right, let me see if we do got an update. Let's see.
All right.
I will send Sean the recipe.
It is all in the marinade. It's all in the marinade.
It's awesome. Perfect.
I'll tell you that.
It's so good.
All right. So while I kind of scroll through some of these, and I will give you legitimate questions as
for
well.
Sure.
But I do want to ask you, first of all, you got to go?
No.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because we do have a show that we just ramble on about. What can fans expect this weekend? You talked about some of the ticket promotions, but what all can you do to make sure they come out this Saturday? Why should they come out? I'm going to follow it up with, actually, I'm going to back that up.
Yeah.
Good. This is great show. I'm going to strike what I just asked you. I want to ask you this. All this stuff, because I have had a couple of people ask, all this stuff with getting the attendance up.
Yeah.
You've been giving away a lot of tickets too, though, and discounting a lot of tickets and doing things like that, because there is a certain level of, obviously, you want fans to see the product and you want fans to get involved. What's the formula in how much you can, I don't want to say giveaway, but you're doing 2-for-1s and you're doing things like that.
Yeah. What's
the formula? What's the balance between making money still and the investment in just getting more eyeballs on the product?
Yeah. I mean, I think, to us, and it started back in the summer when we announced the Kids Free initiative. I think we're at a point in our program, and I had a long conversation with Jason about this, that, we have to bring in the new generation of Lobo football fans. I think we have a really loyal season ticket holder base that we can count on year in and year out. But when you look at taking our attendance from 15,000 to 25,000 on a more regular basis, we've got to expose some new fans to the product that we're putting on the field. And hopefully, look, I know we have our challenges with some of our game, operations, with gates and restrooms, and we've talked about that, right? And obviously, we have to be better on our end, but clearly there's some infrastructure challenges. But to get them in the stadium, to bring a younger generation of fan and bring kids, bring families. And I said it to you before, like making a Lobo football game something that you wake up on a Saturday or Friday in the fall and say, let's do that. And so no doubt at the end of the day, we have to generate revenue. We absolutely have to. It's critical for our continued growth. But to me, we owe it to our community to give them the opportunity to eliminate barriers to entry and say, listen, believe in us, trust us, come to a game, okay? And, we've done very targeted initiatives, obviously APS and, with our great teachers and staff there, and then with our first responders and our salute to service. So they're tied into who we're honoring, for a game. And so it's not just willy-nilly, let's throw a bunch of tickets out there, right? It's very strategic. But to me, I really, really believe that if we're able to do this and we can get that new generation of fan in here, I think with the product that we're going to put on the field and the way Jason has embraced this community, I think we'll see really true incremental growth in our season ticket base, our fan base, which obviously benefits, us at the bottom line. And so it's a great question, right? But we're certainly been very targeted with what we've been doing so that, we're targeting those groups either that we're honoring or that we have a partnership with or a sponsorship or whatever else, just to get that attendance up. And I'll tell you, before I came here, actually, we were, I just checked. We were getting close to 20,000 tickets out for this weekend.
If that's on Tuesday,
that's on Tuesday. And so that's really good. That's really good. We typically see a nice uptick on Thursday, Friday. Obviously, we have a good walk-up crowd, and so I'm glad Jason said what he said. He said, "Hey, we need 25,000 folks in this building." I love it.
And you won't see the results of the Tuesday night basketball promotion. You might get a few hundred of those,
exactly.
Several hundred maybe.
Exactly. Right? So we're trending well. And again, what's that difference between 15,000 and 25,000? I firmly believe it's fans that haven't been to a game either ever or in a really long time that we want to say, it's easy to say, hey, I can't go because I can watch it on my couch, or I've got this, I've got that. Let's try to eliminate those barriers, because I think when we do that and we perform well, and what Jason's been doing, I think we can really develop a stronger foundation moving forward, which is obviously our goal.
I know they're winning too.
Yeah, for sure. That helps.
Coach Eck is the modern day Coach Leach, pirate at heart.
I actually had someone said that to me the other day in passing, and
I think a lot of it's definitely the press conference stuff. Although his asides aren't quite to the Leach level.
Yeah, the elk thing was over in about a minute.
Yeah, the Leach level it was going to be 5-6 minutes. But I think in terms of like obviously it's not like he's running the air raid, but I mean the aggressiveness and all that. Yeah, that's very Leach.
Yeah, for sure.
And the point is just like really fan friendly. right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the point. That's what Leach was fan friendly, and
I don't think he has the. I don't think Jason has the coarseness of Leach in like the fat little girlfriend's clip and all that too. But I don't know about that.
Oh, Leach.
I will definitely take some credit for this, for all of this, really, Fern. I will say this: between Geoff and Sean, they deserve a lot of credit for the rise of the athletic department.
I don't know about that.
They've made it fun and enjoyable to keep up with the team for those of us out of town, and that's right. I mean, look, there's a mayoral race coming up, and if we could do a weekly mayor, we could be.
Well, there's a runoff. There's a runoff.
Yeah, but let's get rid of them and let's be mayor.
I will say
no, thanks.
No, and I'll say this, and Geoff, we've talked about this before. I mean, I really do think we're honestly lucky. You guys do an incredible job covering us, and I appreciate you saying that, Aztec. And I think you guys are fair. I feel like we can tell our story the way we want to, and we even in moments where we have conversations about, hey, we're taking survey results and we're asking our fans what are those things. I mean, to me, transparency is key. Yeah. We're trying to be better. We have a lot of room for growth, but I believe in this place. I believe that this place really, really can be, a really special place at the top of our conference and moving forward. And a lot of that comes from the coverage that we get and how our fans digest the information. So Aztec, I appreciate you saying that, and I echo that. I think you guys really, really have helped us tell our message and our story, and I appreciate you doing that.
I will say this, whether it was us doing it or not, I think part of what fans always want with their team is to sort of kind of go along for the ride, and that doesn't mean show up every just Saturday, right? Yep. It means a show on Tuesday, we're going to update you and we're going to involve you. Yep. It means know something about the players and the coaches that isn't just about the field. It means, I've been I asked Eric the other day about the fans in the stands were doing the 6-7 thing, and he didn't know. Well, he told me yesterday. Apparently, his daughter told him after I had asked that because she was in the press conference. He said, "Well, now I know that what I should have done is just answered, I don't know," because he didn't really know what 6-7 was. All he had to do was this, and he would have been a home run hit with the kids.
I'll be honest. When you asked that question, I said to myself, "I'm glad Geoff's not asking me that question because I have no idea what 6-7 is." And ironically enough, that night, my wife told me about it, and she showed me the thing. I'm like, oh gosh, okay, I had no idea. Clearly, I'm not hip.
and it helps people sometimes like be reminded. They know it in a just regular moment, but they know that the guy down there's got a family and all that. But like when they really get to know that, that's when the investment comes in, and that's sort of been what I've always tried to do in covering a team, because it helps me too. Like people want to keep reading if they know the backstories, they know all this stuff. It's not just transactional. I will get into, you mentioned the kind of feedback thing. We got one feedback here for you, and then another one right after this. Armando Trujillo is saying, "I love you, Fern, but when will you get urinal partitions?"
Listen, urinal partitions, that's a great one. I will tell you, great, very astute observation there. I will tell you, at the University of Texas, we had troughs. We didn't even have urinals in a lot of our restrooms. So we're a step up there. But I will agree with you that, and I will commit to you that when we renovate this stadium, that we will ensure that we have appropriate partitions by the urinals. Noted.
There you go.
Thank you. Is it Armando? Thank you, Armando. I appreciate the feedback.
We're doing some important work here. This show, we're gonna cut a clip, and if there are not partitions after a renovation, and when there is a renovation, I'll put an asterisk by any attendance figures.
Perfect.
All right. Desert Lobo 72, a regular contributor here on YouTube, is saying, this is for Lovo. It was well published what complaints fans had about the University Stadium, but what compliments did UNM get from fans' feedback? So there you go. Like what did you? And that's true. And I'm the one who reported on the feedback, and I did put in a couple of the positive things too, but I did lean heavier on the complaints. I will admit. Yeah, but here's your chance. So what did people kind of pat you in the back for?
I've heard more compliments about our in-game experience of. And look, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because sometimes the music's too loud, or we're playing too much music, or what, But I think just the engagement, that we're really working towards. One thing that I do, and I took this for my time at the University of Texas, is on every road trip, I make sure that I take someone from our marketing and in-game experience team. And so someone came to Michigan, and someone came to UCLA, and San Jose State. Obviously, Boise and Jeremiah, they do a tremendous job there. And so, we're trying to make our games more engaging, and you saw the light show, and we're trying to make sure that, and I said this before when we talked before the season, is we need to be dynamic in our scripting, and we got to understand the ebbs and flows of the game and make sure that we don't have a drop in the energy. And I've heard a few folks tell me that they felt that this year. Obviously playing well helps, so I'm not saying that we've got this magic sauce there to it, but I've heard a lot about that. I did hear we made a pretty drastic transformation in our traffic control plan.
So everybody complaining about traffic, I'll vouch for this. I read through those. A lot of people actually said thank you.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a lot of thank yous to the traffic stuff.
And again, full transparency. Did we have as robust of a traffic control plan as we should have? For the New Mexico State game and really any game. And the answer to that is no. And we needed to improve on that. And it's been so great to work with UNMPD and APD and others, right? And we have a full blown traffic control plan. And I'm not saying it's perfect, but you see a lot more, cones and partitions and delineators and signage and everything else. We have a really tough footprint when it comes to parking because all of our parking is so close to the stadium that it makes it challenging, really for ingress and egress. But I've heard some good feedback about that, and I appreciate that because hopefully our fans see that if they do say something that, we're going to take it to heart and try to make it better. So I appreciate you asking that, Desert. That's
Desert Lovo 72.
I kind of want to throw my own thing in too. You mentioned that, and it's not quite on the same page, but a little bit similar. You mentioned that when you do road trips, like you bring a marketing employee and all that too. Jason told us, and he said multiple times, the fact that you're a football guy has always appealed him as well. That you also, when you're on the flight after, you actually watch the tape.
Yeah,
you pull the tape up. And for those who aren't familiar, coaches watch the tape on the flight back. The video team gets it ready. Jason usually doesn't do that. He likes to unwind a little bit. When you're watching that tape, is it just like, because you've been in football for a long time?
He said before you answer this, he told us, it was right over here. He told us one of these weekly pressers. He said, it was after the UNLV game.
After the UNLV game,
yes. He said, you were watching the film on the flight home, and he wasn't. And he looked over your shoulder, and who?
I think it was Schleiss.
Were you and Schleiss looking at the film?
Schleiss was sitting right behind me. Yeah, and I asked Schleiss about a play.
Yeah, so you guys were watching it, and Eck was just trying to enjoy the moment a little bit more. And you guys were already breaking down the film, while Eck was just like, give me a flight home, and then I'll get into it.
Yeah, no, I look, I've never had a whistle around my neck, and I do, I say break down. It's certainly not breaking down the film. I love watching our student athletes compete, and I don't know if you've seen me on the sideline during a game, but I am a complete nervous wreck for any of our games. And so, a lot of times I miss, what happens because I'm just, my mind is going a million miles an hour. And so that's always been something that, of course, my background was heavy in football before I got onto the administrative side. And I've always been more of an offensive guy than defensive guy because when I first started working in football, I was working on the offensive side at Florida with Tebow and Dan Mullen and Urban and all of them. And so I will tell you a story. This is really funny, and we ran a play. So when I was at Texas, it was 2019. LSU was really good with Joe Brady. They were running great offense, and that was with Joe Burrow and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And I remember we played LSU that year when I was at Texas, and they had this incredible play where they would run the running back out the backfield, and he was wide open, and everybody was loving the play. And I remember, I just like really cool play designs, and we ran the play against UNLV. And it was open for a touchdown.
So was that the play
and Jack got sacked. And I kind of forgot about it, but I was having another conversation with Jason later, and he said, I really studied Joe Brady at one point. I said, wait a minute. I said, did you run? And it was just like two football guys staring at each other. He was like, yes, I did. So when I talk about watching it, I love the see our guys and all of our student athletes compete. And so it's just kind of therapeutic for me to sit back and watch. I do it with basketball. I do it with other sports. It's just, it's part of it. It kind of takes my mind off things.
There's a student athlete story I'm going to bring up. And then we'll rapid fire some of these other ones here because I know you got work to do. I don't really have anything to do.
2:30?
Yeah.
I'm good till 2:30.
Yeah, we're good. Okay. Pamela Kosgei, fantastic athlete for you guys.
Yeah.
2-time national champion now in cross country, right? Did she win it last? No. She didn't win the national championship
runner-up last year, and then she won. She did a distance double at NCAA.
Yes.
Yeah.
So 2-time national championship is correct, but not cross country. Okay. Anyway, she'll get hers this year. That'll be my prediction. So anyway, when you first got here, I don't know if you remember telling me this or not, but I think you were introducing yourself to some of the student athletes. You guys kind of had something, I think, over at the pit upstairs.
Yeah.
And she came up to you and asked you, like, "Oh, so you run?" or something like that?
Oh, yeah. This is good. She actually, and she is the sweetest person. Pamela is.
She knows how good she is, though.
I can't say enough great things. She is super confident, but she's a wonderful person. I mean, she's a Bowerman finalist, which is the Heisman Trophy of track. And, she'll end up being one of the most decorated student athletes here ever in Lovo history. But, of course, first time I met her and, people were saying, hey, she's really good. And, getting to know each other. And
this is a student athlete meeting the athletic director of your university for the very first time.
Factual. And I said to her, I said, I really like to run. But I need to get used to the altitude here in Albuquerque. And she looked at me and she said, how fast do you run a mile? And I said, 9 minutes. And she goes, wow, you're slow. And I said, yes, I am. Thank you for that. It is factual. I am slow. I run not to say that I'm going to break some sort of time. It just helps me clear my mind. But to this day, we always laugh about that when we see each other.
Was the introduction.
That's how we've developed such a good relationship. She was very honest with me. She said, I'm slow. So I said, you're right, Pamela. I am slow. But it is cool. Like, we're sitting up here and I just saw Tom Samuel running around.
Yeah, you see him every Tuesday.
Our cross country, Darren does such an amazing job with our track and field programs. And, what's really cool is they're great, obviously competitors, but, I was with them in Fresno before the UNLV game to watch them win there. And they're so special to be around. I mean, one of the more rewarding things I've ever been a part of was being in Eugene last year when both of our teams finished in the top 10. And gosh, they're just a great group to be around. And we got a chance this year. I mean, on the cross country side, we are really, really talented and everything's going to have to go the right way. But I think we could both see ourselves on the podium there here in a few weeks.
There's something to be said about being around just like really, truly elite level athleticism and competition. And I'm lucky enough to have been covering, Jackson Wink a few times, the gym here. So the MMA crowd, the UFC fighters over there, and going in that gym and seeing these are the best in the world. Well, UNM has not just some good college basketball and some good college football and all that kind of stuff. Like, when we're talking best in the world, that is actually what this cross country track program is
for sure
in the whole world.
100%.
Like, they're right there. So
it's awesome.
It is cool to be around that level of competition and
really cool.
the mindset of watching them. Larry on X is back in. So say, Fern, have you met the new NMSU AD yet?
I actually have not met him in person yet. I talked to Joe a few times since he got hired. I called him. We have his old boss at Tulsa, Justin Moore, is a good friend of mine. I've always been close with Justin, similar backgrounds. He started in football. And so when Joe got the job, I made sure to reach out to him. He's a wonderful person. Just a great reputation. Going to do really good things there. And I'm excited to work together with him. We've talked about, obviously, Geoff, we've talked about this, just, working together and making sure that we're pulling in the same direction and leveraging, we're both, have the same goals in mind. And I think when we work together, it's powerful, and
it is a tough balance in the rivalry to kind of cooperate too much. And the fans don't always like that. But the reality is the state needs that cooperation. Like, the UNM benefit by UNM cooperating with NMSU a lot more than it is just kind of butting heads, even in Santa Fe and all that kind of stuff.
People ask all the time, like, are you going to play them twice in basketball? And the questions just keep, coming. And it all comes back to, we want both of us to be really good every time we play each other. It's great for our fans, our community, our revenues. Joe would agree with all of this. We have to both be good in our state. I think it's healthy for our state. And I think, we don't have to like each other when we play each other for 3 hours or this Saturday when we're playing each other for basketball. It's a rivalry, that's what it is. But I think together we can certainly achieve more. And I've had some of those conversations with Joe and super excited to work with him. I know he's, drinking from a fire hose, just like I still am some days, but no, excited to work with him.
I know we want to rapid fire a couple of these, but a quick logistical question.
Yeah.
Football 1 p.m. on Saturday.
Yeah.
In Albuquerque, and then basketball at 7 p.m. on Saturday in the Pan Am Center, Las Cruces. What is Saturday going to look like for you?
Yeah. So that'll be it's a good question. We're actually
get down there.
No, I was actually talking to Joe about this week, because NMSU plays Tennessee this weekend, and obviously our game, and so we were talking about maybe doing something together, and he was asking me if I was coming down, and he was trying to decide if he was going to go to Tennessee. It's just hard for both of us.
Yeah.
But no, I won't be able to go down. But we are working on a watch party right now with some of our partners for the basketball game after, and so we'll announce that here pretty soon. So I'll probably go to that with my family. I'm excited. It should be a really good obviously be a good football game, and that's a big one for us down in Las Cruces. So I'm excited to see that.
On the basketball front, and I'll mention it again tonight when I do a pregame show, that I will say this about NMSU UNM basketball. I do think that Jason Hooten's style is the one thing I still have questions about with Eric Olin's team. It's physical. It rebounds really well. Some things that I still need to see from Eric's team. So his style, I don't think, is a great matchup for what I've seen so far from Lobo basketball, but this will be their first D1 game. Yeah. That'll be the second Saturday of the season. They have not played a D1 opponent. They play, 2 D2s in the first 2 weeks. Really? And this will be their first D1 game. Yeah. No. And 2 weeks into the season, it'll be the fourth for UNM. So yeah,
it'll be a good matchup. I think, obviously, I think it was really good for us to play those exhibitions, go on the road. I mean, obviously, people want to focus on the result, but I know when I was talking to Eric, I mean, even just, what's the routine? You get on the plane, what's the road trips look like, and all of that for the first, when you got a brand new team and, staff that I know the staff knows each other, but still in a new environment. I think that will help us. Obviously, we'll continue to grow, and I think this will be a good test for us. And I'm glad we've had the opportunity to go on the road once before, even though it was for an exhibition.
Justin on X is in, and he is letting us know about steak. It's all in the slice that meat against the grain.
That's my dad would tell me that, and I if my dad's listening, which I know he's not, he would be mad at me for saying this. I never listened to him and when he said that, so I need to slice the meat against the grain. Noted. I got you, Justin. Appreciate you.
Adam Lopez is in on X. Lovo, we're blessed to have an AD like you. Question: can we please get mobile IDs so I literally only need to bring my phone to the game, especially since our tickets are already digital?
Yeah, that's a good question. Someone actually had emailed me about that. It might have been you, Adam, before the season. I actually checked with some folks on my team, and I want to say there's a legal piece to this that we're not allowed to sell alcohol with the. I'll be honest, I don't know the exact. You might have asked me that, Geoff, one time.
Yeah, maybe.
I think before the season, but there's
about mobile IDs. Yeah. I don't know if it was that, but that makes sense, right?
Yeah, there's a reasoning behind it. All I can say is I've looked into it, and I got some feedback, but it's a great idea, and I understand where you're coming from. So we'll continue to explore that piece.
Desert 2 Lobos back in on YouTube. This was from earlier. Yeah. But you just any news on the Mountain West broadcast partners for 26-27. I would love to see more Mountain West sports available on ESPN Plus. Otherwise, the Mountain West app needs an upgrade. Any thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I think we're still working through all that. I know Gloria, she's been spearheading, and her team have been doing a great job spearheading all of our partners. And I think what I can speak to is that we're going to be creative in how we approach our distribution channels, and obviously streaming and ESPN Plus and all of those things are an important part for our fans to be able to consume our games and a lot of our games. It's not just obviously football and basketball, but you talk about all our Olympic sports and all the great things that our other sports are doing. So we've been having great conversations. We're not there quite yet, but we're getting close, and I'm excited for what it's going to be.
Rob's in, and he says, Fern, marinate that flank steak with an acid, some citrus vinegar, soy sauce, and then cut thin across the grain. So I guess
I will report back. When I have a moment, I'm going to. I know. I need to follow through on this, because the flank steak always catches my attention because it sounds like a great option. It's never delivered.
If you don't do it right.
It's operator error. I just haven't done it. So Susie's going to help me out. Rob's got me. Yeah. I mean, I'm cutting against the grain. Well, here we go. I got my plan of action.
JT's in on YouTube. Hey, Fern, what's been the best part about being in New Mexico that has nothing to do with UNM?
I'll tell you. The weather here is unbelievable. It'll 3 or 4 times a week. I tell my wife just how amazing the weather is here. We really like being outdoors. And the fact that this is what it's, her family lives in Ohio, and she showed me a video that it was, snowing in Ohio. I mean, this is, you can't beat this here. I mean, the weather is just unbelievable. We love it here. My kids are so happy in school. They love, they found their friends, and we just, it's the weather, the food, the people, I know those are cliche, but truthfully, when you take a job sight unseen, you don't know. And it's been so great. But if I had to pick one, man, this weather is as good as I've ever seen.
Fern, not a question, just an acknowledgement. The university and our athletics department is better because of you. Thanks for all you do.
I appreciate it, Justin. It's a team effort. I can tell you that. I've got a great team, and I was very fortunate to be able to inherit some wonderful folks, and we're trying our best. We know we're not perfect, and we're trying to have fun while we're doing it. So I appreciate you saying that, Justin.
These next two are kind of similar questions, so I'll go through them both before you answer. This is Aztec Tacoma back in on X. With the success of the entire athletic department, does Fern feel UNM is on pretty solid ground right now? That's the first one. And then the other one is Nicholas on YouTube coming in with, what is your long-term vision for our athletics department over the next 5 to 10 years? I will say 2030 sort of been your kind of unofficial benchmark kind of goal of whatever you want to get to, you want it to be by 2030.
Yeah. I think those two questions go hand in hand. 5 to 10 years, you said it best, Geoff. I mean, I look at it in a 5-year window, right? From now to 2030, what are we doing to, one, ensure, I think it was Aztec that asked or said it, that we're on solid ground, because now's critical. Now's our time. We have to put our best foot forward. We all know, you read it all the time, you hear it, you see it, that there's going to be another round of consolidation or realignment or whatever it is that you call it, right? And we need to be ready, and that can't happen a month or two before something like that were to happen. We need to be prepared. And I do feel strongly that we're on solid ground right now. Obviously, we've talked about fan attendance. We've talked about fan engagement. The one thing, we all know this, but we've been through a lot of change in the last year. I mean,
you haven't been here a year.
Yeah, a lot. And even if you go a year and a half, obviously the split up of the conference, and, Eddie leaving it to
end of August,
take
early September, end of August, I think it was just last year.
Eddie getting the great opportunity at Houston, which opened up, this blessing for me to come here. And then you look at football coach turnover, obviously basketball coach. There's been a lot of disruption in the system, and I think we've navigated that well as an athletic department. But really, I think where it comes from is, we've been able to really, I feel like, get great support in the community, and people have, I think, been speaking. I've said this before, if we can all be aligned, if we're all rowing in the same direction, and Chris at Texas used to say, if all the BBs can be in the box together, meaning when they're scattered everywhere and there's a million different opinions, if we're all believe that our best days are ahead of us, and we're preaching that, and even in the midst of, we lose a game or something happens, if we stay positive, we have so much support in this community because we're the flagship of this state, that I think not only are we on solid footing right now, but we're setting ourselves up right where we need to be in this critical moment in these next 5 to 7 to 10 years. And so we're going to keep pushing. We're not going to settle. Now's not the time to do that. But we need everybody, and their support. And I'm happy to say, since I've been here, we've received a lot of that. So.
Since you said critical moment, I'll jump ahead to Desert Lobo 72 back in on YouTube saying, Fern, you going to be involved in presidential search?
Yeah, I can't comment on that. That's not.
Can't tell us who it's going to be.
That's not my decision. I can tell you this, that first off, President Stokes has been just a godsend for me and our whole university leadership. And I know,
I've been meaning to tell you that at that football game that one day I saw you and I was talking to to you interrupted a really good interview just to give her a big hug.
Yeah, and that's honestly like I
gave her the biggest bear hug.
I appreciate her. I mean, obviously, I say this. There's people that come in your life that change your life, and she did that for me. She believed in me. She gave me this opportunity, and she supported me every step of the way. And what I can say is, I know that from the top down, and when I talk about our regents all the way down to the president, and really across the university leadership, I believe that there is a true, genuine belief and understanding that athletics is important to the success of the university. And so
I don't know that was always the case either here.
Yeah, I can tell you, you can't speak to that, but since I've been here, and even in my conversations with Eddie when I got the job here, I mean, he shared that same sentiment. Obviously, him and Garnet did a lot of really great things together, and so what I can say is I feel confident that whoever the next person would be and what that process looks like, that there's a belief from the top, at the very top, that athletics needs to be important, and I feel that and I believe that.
I do wish I had that hug on video. I was like, man, that's not just a hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Like you're like, get over here.
Yeah,
like you guys hadn't seen each other in months. All right, back to a couple other ones.
Yeah.
Larry bought tickets for basketball in Las Cruces, so he's going to have to leave the football game at halftime.
Wow.
So,
that's well.
You're going to both though.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing that, Larry. That's big time, and I know that just shows the commitment. Hopefully, you can leave at halftime, and we feel comfortable with the direction it's heading.
And make sure to listen to the 770 KKOB.
Yeah. It's funny. I recognize some of these folks with their
handles.
Because I make sure to respond if any of them mention me.
More compliments for me and Sean. I'm making sure to get on. JT from San Diego is in, and I agree with Aztec to Tacoma. Live in San Diego, far from home, so I really appreciate the shows from Sean and Geoff.
Thank you, JT.
I appreciate that. We already did that one. Eric, thank you. This is to you, Fern, I imagine, because I don't think Sean and I had anything to do with this, but thank you for making handicap parking free again. I don't know if you technically did that or did.
Yeah, we
I don't know
were.
what the handicap parking situation is right now.
We had talked about it. We were evaluating everything about a standard parking rate across all of our events, and we had some discussions, and we decided to kind of delay that as we continue to work through. We've got to reimagine our whole parking situation. I think that'll take us some time to do that and do it right. And look, our fans. That's one thing I love about being here. They always share their mind, and they'll tell me exactly how they feel, and I appreciate that, and I listen. I look,
and hopefully they'll come and thank you if it does go their way too.
We've got a job to do. Obviously we've got to do our part, but we're always going to listen and make sure that we're taking into consideration. So I appreciate you saying that.
Ice Baby's in. Thank you, Fern. JT's in again on YouTube. Thanks again, Fern. You have a unique job of representing most of the state. Basically, not a lot of ADs get to do that. You have brought a lot of hope and a lot of fun back in our lives. Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, honestly, that was one of the reasons that this job was so appealing to me. I understood the magnitude of what it means, to be a Lobo in this state, and obviously, and same for our rivals, right? I mean, we have two really great institutions in a state that doesn't have a whole lot of competition in terms of professional sports or anything like that. And so it's an honor. It's an honor to represent the state in the small piece that I do, and I appreciate you saying that, because it really is a blessing to be able to do that. All right, we're going to let Fern go in 4 minutes. He's going to give us 4 more minutes, but he's got stuff to do. So I am going to rapid fire these, and some of these are unfair to rapid fire, but. First of all, Adam says it definitely was him that at the mobile ID question earlier. Was it? So it was him. Appreciate you following up, Adam. Hello, Albuquerque 505. All right. Logistically, what did you learn from the first sellout at University Stadium? Wrap that up in a quick 30-second soundbite. What did you learn from the sellout? Josh. It is. What's going on, Josh? How you doing? I learned a couple things. One, I learned that we always look at ourselves first. We have to be better at certain things. I mentioned our traffic control plan that we really dove into, and looked at. And there were other things, that became abundantly clear to me that we could, execute at a higher level. So start with that piece. Obviously, we have infrastructure challenges. Our stadium, when it was built 60 years ago, and even when the north end zone was added, which I think was late 90s, early 2000s. I always forget when it was, but it was built. It might have been the Mountain West era, right at the start of the Mountain West. Yeah. So. When it was built where you had a ticket, they tore your ticket, and you walked in. Yeah. There wasn't metal detectors. There wasn't and I love mobile ticketing because it allows us to do so much great stuff in terms of being able to help sell tickets and have email addresses and all that. But the reality is it slows things down a little bit. You got to scan. If the sun's hitting it the wrong way, it backs things up. And I think some of our fans are still learning the mobile ticketing, mindset. And again, when we talk about infrastructure,
If you don't have your ticket in your wallet when you get here, we don't have great Wi-Fi. Right. We just don't. And the cell phone service isn't great. We want to fix that. We will fix that. But that's why I think it's better education on our part. But we do have some infrastructure challenges. And I'll tell you what I learned from our first sellout at University Stadium is that, just from a straight football perspective, that was a hell of a home field advantage.
Yeah, it really was.
I mean, man, it was third downs were incredible.
And I wondered about that here too, because the seats are pretty far on both sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
They're not right on top, but that felt like it was right on top.
It did. And that's, we're looking at some of that as we're looking at our design. And you're absolutely right. There used to be a track around the field, obviously, so there's a ton of space. And so, I think we've all been to stadiums where it's more intimate and the sound is closer, but it really was a true legitimate home field advantage. I would say a home field advantage like that is worth 7 points right off the bat. I really do. I believe that. And so talk about fans.
Jason will take that. That's why he wants 25 here.
For sure. Yeah, no doubt.
He'll take 7 points every week. Royce is in. How much can you raise the ceiling? How much can you pay Eck? It seems like he's really wanted by Power 4. Thank you for your time as AD.
Yeah, I told you before, we're going to keep pushing. Now's not the time to be sit around and put it on cruise control. And, these are great conversations to have. And so we love Coach, and it's an honor to work with him. And, I think even though I was watching the film on the plane, that might have scared him a little bit, that I wouldn't let him have a moment of reprieve. But I love.
You're not Jerry Jonesing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Micromanaging the head coach.
No, I love it. And I love what he's building, and we're gonna keep pushing. So,
Aztec says, would Fern ever consider adding a wrestling program? New Mexico has a pretty decent wrestling tradition. In general, the adding of sports now. What can you say?
Yeah, I think we're obviously when the you wrote about it when Non-West added soccer, and we put out a statement there. We don't have any plans at this moment to reevaluate our sports sponsorship. Never say never to anything. You never know where things could go or what's important at the time. But at this point, we're not planning to do anything there.
Mr. Tomeo Pond Prospector is telling us on X that once we win the Mountain West in basketball and football, we'll begin building Geoff, Sean, and Fernando statue outside the pit with my bare hands.
What are Geoff and I doing in these statues? Like, are we just sitting? Like, are we just sitting with a laptop in front of us?
I think
it's probably
an image right there. So.
It's got to be all.
Aztec says the high school age. Sorry, totally messed that up. Oh, at the high school age, the wrestling comment.
Gotcha.
Joe, the jeweler in. Fern, speaking of team, it was a great decision to bring Ryan Berryman back to Loboland. The future is bright and having great young leadership at the forefront. Keep being great.
What's going on, Joe? Appreciate you. Yeah,
Joe's a good guy.
Yeah, great guy. Ryan's a superstar. He'll be an AD very soon. Was really blessed to be able to get him back. And, and really my whole executive team is I think really high level, and but yeah, Ryan, it was great to get Ryan back, and he'll be an AD.
Who's the executive team? Jalen,
Jalen, Ryan, Ed,
Amy,
Ed, Chris
Baca,
Amy, and
I call
Bob.
it Chris Baca. Still.
Yeah, Chris Baca. Yeah,
is it Chris Baca or is it Chris?
It's Chris Hudson.
Yeah,
and then Bob Waller.
Okay, there we go. Marty's in on YouTube. Impressed with the overall creative and football branding / uniform combos this year. Yeah, I mean, look, you guys have had a good year in the creative side of things on football. Yeah,
and again, and Casey Byers on my executive team. Sorry, you put me on the spot there, and I Casey's been an incredible.
He's
addition.
The last one in, though. One in gets the last mention.
He's been an incredible addition. We've really I think elevated our storytelling. And I think that's really important. We talk about putting our best foot forward. We got to tell our story, and we got to amplify the stories that you tell at the Journal, and making sure that we don't, we're not letting others tell our story for us. And Casey's done a really good job, and with the turquoise reveal and everything else, I think it's been a really good year for us on social.
All right, 3 more. Reese, the coverage you guys provide in the state of athletics make me miss New Mexico even more. Thanks, guys. Reese, thank you.
Come on back, Reese.
Gilbert Chavez, Fern, we appreciate all that you've done for New Mexico in a short amount of time. What is your plan to increase fan participation in football, both attendance and monetary? Yeah,
I think it goes back to what we talked about before, is we've got to eliminate barriers to entry. To say that we can keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results, I believe they call that the definition of insanity. And we're going to do things differently. We got to find the balance between generating revenue, but also growing that fan base so that it becomes the norm for folks to wake up and want to come to a Lobo football game. And I think we've made progress this year. But this offseason, I told my team the other day we were meeting, I said, there was about 10 of us in the room. I said, I want everybody in this room to come up with a wild idea for tickets and let me know. And I'll tell you, there's been some great ideas, but that's what our offseason is going to look like. We're going to come up with things and be creative and push and find, deals and, promotions and everything else to drive that for our football program.
I just got a spam loan text popped up on my screen. That's nice.
Uh-oh.
We'll sign off with the last comment is this. It's Adam on X. Fern, please do a Jeff and Sean bobblehead night.
We have talked about grammar and the bobblehead possibility. It doesn't work because he doesn't really have a neck.
You don't have a neck. There's no wobble. I mean, I can do a wobble.
A wobble? I kind of like that.
I could do a wobble, but I can't do a bobblehead.
I could see something there. We could get some sponsorship. We could do that. I mean, there's something there for a bobblehead night, a journal bobblehead night.
I like it. Fern, I'll let you sign off and get back to work with whatever you want. The floor is yours.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Let's do this more often. And again, appreciate what you guys do for us and for all the listeners and those that care so much about Lobo athletics. We're in this together. Like I said, we're not going to be perfect. We're going to keep trying, keep working our tails off. And if you got something you think can make us better, let us know. But we're trying to make you guys proud. And let's pack the pit tonight. We got a women's basketball game tomorrow, and we got a big weekend, football and then basketball again. So it's a good time to be a Lobo. Appreciate you guys.
It's not lost on me that Fern just walked over here, gave us. I don't know if you walked, maybe you drove, but you walked at this party.
Yeah, I drove.
He came over here, gave us 1 hour of his time in person. That's pretty cool. So thank you.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks, everyone.
Have
a great one.
Patino questions now, so I'll let you sign off on that.
See you guys.
Thanks, Fern. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
See you guys. Have a good one.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for that, for participating in that. There are a couple Patino questions here, and what do I think about his start of the season? I'll tell you.
Did you watch all of it last night, or did you just hop in? Like, this isn't going well.
Okay. I hopped in at halftime, and I will tell you that. It was a rough go.
Because UNM does play Santa Clara this year, obviously. And I was wondering if you kind of had that circled. I was like, well, I can do a little Santa Clara scouting and also check this out too.
Nevada and Santa Clara play later this week, and I was already planning that too. So, all right. Let's see. Off the topic, this is one of the two Patino ones. Had some up or higher in the scroll too, but Patino in his first 3 games have been rough. It's been rough. 2 close wins to bad teams and 1 big loss to a good team. All right. This will Jeff. I'll make sure that Fern gets this after the fact. But yeah, so every hotel stay there's a 40-cent, 89-cent, $1.45, etc. Has the New Mexico Hotel Association been approached to add a tax that would go directly to UNM NIL? Based on research, it could bring UNM up to the NIL cap. I would say that first of all, it would be an NMSU UNM kind of combo thing there if it's a statewide hotel association issue. But I'll ask him about it. If there's any,
that's a good question.
Throw a quarter onto every hotel stay, and send that our way. And then the next quarter can go to the schools. My daughter will be going to college for sports management next year. Any advice for her? I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna pass that along too. Ski Wookie is up in Colorado, north of Denver, I believe. No, I think you're in Denver and you drive up to Fort Collins and Laramie for the games, don't you, Ski? I forget. Maybe you're in northern Colorado. But anyway, I know I see you at the games there every year. Nicholas is in. Are you doing pregame? I am. So, Sean, why don't you, since this is normally a football-dominated show, as we wrap this up, why don't you preview, as best you can, a 14-point favored New Mexico team against, is it still 14 points?
Still 14 points. 14 and a half
I think that's 1 point for every year it's been since they've beat.
Yeah, UNM has not beat Colorado State since 2009. That is a 13-game win streak for the Colorado State Rams. Last year they lost 17-6 at Canvas Stadium and all that. That was kind of I believe that was the game that snapped the 3-game winning streak. They kind of had added into that one. This is this is not we've done this conversation before, kind of is it a must win? Is it, you really got to have this one? I think it would, if they did lose this one, this would take a lot of the wind out of the sails and all that as well. It would effectively If you're losing this one, then you're probably kind of looking and saying, well, are they going to beat San Diego State? Even though San Diego State got trounced by, on the island. And then Air Force as well, I think is a tricky game. But you got to win this one. And really, you need to win out. I know everybody has played around with the Mountain West Championship, what it could look like. And here are all the scenarios. There's still a lot of scenarios up in the air of what could happen. UNM still doesn't quite control its own destiny at this point. But if they win out and things do break their way, particularly Hawaii losing another game and all that as well, then yeah, they're going to be in a really good spot to make it. I will also note a lot of the playoff predictor stuff. If you go on the website, some of the tiebreakers there don't account for what they would actually do. The league would do in terms of certain scenarios where they would go to the computers and all that as well. I did communicate with the league for a mailbag I did last week about what situations would go to the computers, and I do want to get some more clarity from the league in terms of what are the computers things look like and all that as well. So Eck did talk a little bit about that today as well. Just kind of a general team preview in terms of Colorado State and all that. Eck and talking about him today, it seems like he's got a pretty good respect for what they do defensively and how multiple they can kind of be, how aggressive they kind of are as well. That's really kind of the main thing he talked about. I thought today was probably, in terms of personnel, the least detailed he had kind of given all year. That was kind of the feeling that I sort of got, because usually he will rattle off a list of players and all that. And I don't think that's a sign of disrespect to Colorado State or anything like that. I just think that was also partially, the questions were kind of shaping up and all that as well. Jackson Brousseau will be the quarterback, but I would expect Darius Curry to also play a bit too. Actually, he's gonna be preparing for both of them as well. And the game that he's kind of pointed to for Colorado State is, and this is pre Jay Norvell firing and all that as well, but he said look, they were able to go, they went to Fresno, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, and they kind of beat the brakes off Fresno. They were up 20 points on them pretty early and all that, and just kind of rolled to it when Fresno was still looking pretty impressive at that point in the season. So he does have that kind of in his head that this is possibly a team that not only can do something like that on a given day, but also has nothing to lose. They have no pressure kind of on them. And he did even kind of say, there are guys on that staff and there are players that, they're drawing the motivation in a lot of respects from, hey, if you're a player, you want to put good film on tape for these last couple games. So you can, if you enter the portal, so you have that to kind of point to. And if you're a coach, you want to make sure you're not packing it in and all that. So when you do go try and get another job, if the staff's going to split up, and almost assuredly will, that you didn't show that you were kind of packing it in, that you did a nice job over the last couple games. So that's a lot of how he was looking at it. I did ask him if he thought there was anything. It's a small sample size, and I think part of it was weird because after Colorado State fired Jay Norvell, they didn't have the regular bye. They didn't do the bye week situation where they fired the coach heading into the bye, so they had more time to kind of settle and get things in. They just did it straight up off the cuff, and then had the Border War game after that. And then obviously they played UNLV this last week. I did ask him if he thought that there was any, any more noticeable differences compared to when Norvell is the coach, and he said he kind of indicated they've gone away from a bit of the the more air raid style stuff that Norvell has been at least known to run. It wasn't like that was quite the team, the offense that he used last year, and this year there's a little bit more of that. But he said he noticed more of a commitment to running the football. Colorado State's defense, I believe, has given up the most rushing yards per game of any team in the league and all that. It hasn't been a phenomenal rushing defense. So I do think, UNM is in a good spot on that front as well. So yeah, that's kind of a lot of the stuff that I had. And I'll get that caveman video out right after we're done with this, because that was spectacular.
All right, getting back to some of yours through the past hour. Brandon saying hopefully someday we can get a good opponent come play in the pit for a bye game. There's some other questions about that, so I'll kind of comment on that here in a second. Yeah. I don't know who that was from.
It's my mom.
Okay. Desert 2 Lobo, I did see you fired off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions there in a row earlier, and I didn't skip them intentionally. I just wanted to make sure Fern got all his stuff in. Although I hate them for leaving, do you think UNM will still try to schedule CSU, USU, BSU in all sports? All I can speak to is basketball. And basketball, I've spoken to all those coaches, and they're all interested. I would say CSU is a no doubt in basketball. Boise State, Leon Rice said he would, but probably, they're not as regional. It's not an easy flight, Boise to Albuquerque back and forth. So I don't know for sure that I see Boise every year. Colorado State, I think, will happen pretty much regularly, and Utah State, I think, will happen fairly regularly as well.
Football scheduling is a lot different than basketball scheduling, obviously, and all that as well too, particularly with non-conference stuff. I will say off the dome here, I have a hard time seeing Utah State at the moment.
Yep.
I don't really see that happening. The other stuff, Boise and CSU, I think could be interesting. Probably a little bit more CSU, honestly, in my opinion.
Lady Lobos basketball team hosts 2 Power Fours this season. Our D1 women's basketball coaches not as afraid to play at mid-majors as men's basketball coaches. It has to do with revenue.
Yeah.
They just don't play road games anymore. Major programs in men's basketball play neutral court games. They might do a home and home if it's another top 25 level-ish team, but they just don't play road games. Nobody's doing it. And it's been that way for a little while now. Even before COVID, the trend had already started. So neutral court games where a sponsor kind of pays 2 teams to come play, they'll do those, but they don't really leave their home gym until conference play nowadays. When football plays Hawaii, will UNM try to schedule that 5th non-conference game? Lovo's in charge of it.
I don't know for sure. I haven't talked at all with Lovo about this. I don't know if it's going to be entirely Lovo's call, if I'll be honest with you. The last time around, and this was, Bronco Mendenhall was here and all that as well, and Bronco kind of got hired into that deal where they didn't, I asked that question kind of earlier in his tenure, and what was explained to me by, Bronco and then athletic director Eddie Nunez was that Bronco really wanted to just make sure that they were taking care of the stuff on the ground at the moment, and if something came up that they might work, they would do that. But
I would tell you this: if they get another home game and they're doing stuff like they're doing now, where fans are showing up, I'll bet you they'd find a way to do it.
I think so too.
How did the Mountain West decide to relocate, or why did the Mountain West decide to relocate their headquarters from Colorado Springs to Las Vegas? Partly because that's where a lot of the championships are, and that is where they basically have storage space and office space already anyway, because of the Mountain West basketball tournament is there every year and every media day. So rather than shifting back or shipping back and forth all this gear, a lot of their stuff for their events is already housed in Las Vegas. They're going to work remotely. Just so people know, Gloria still works remotely, primarily out of her house north of Reno, if I'm not mistaken. She does not live in Colorado Springs. So while headquarters is moving to Las Vegas, it doesn't actually change much. For a while, there will still be a Mountain West network that is in Colorado Springs, and Jesse Kurtz and has family and all that stuff. Like, not everybody's moving just because the headquarters is moving. The brick and mortar days of a conference home doesn't really matter much at all. Which one's this? Do you think the Mountain West will rebound in 2026? Good question. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they got a new start, so maybe they do that. That's a good question. I don't know. That is correct. Geoff asked for grammar. All right, I'm going to scroll all the way down here to the bottom to some of these. All right, I've watched every Xavier game like a nasty ex-girlfriend. They look awful. Also, Twitter legend Curry Hicks Sage said Santa Clara has a huge NIL budget.
Shout out Curry Hicks Sage.
I talked to Patino last year about this, and I remember talking to him, and he was telling me how much money they had for NIL. In that regard, I'm a little surprised that they scheduled this game, because I remember last year Patino telling me he knew exactly what Santa Clara was about to become, that they're about to be pretty darn good because of all their NIL money. I talked to somebody via text last night, another basketball writer, who says he thinks Santa Clara is going to be the second best team in the West Coast Conference this year, better than St. Mary's. So that would be pretty interesting. Sean, give us the Lee's keys to the game.
Lee's keys to the game.
I think that is what Sean did.
Man, shout out Lee.
I should have pulled this up before Sean gave me.
No, I think general Lee's keys. I'll give you 3.
Rebound. Oh, sorry, Ron.
Rebound, defend, and run. No, I think. Look, this is a game. I think it's going to look really bad if UNM is not able to get things going on the ground, and I think they will. So I think outrushing the opponent, that's a key kind of in every game. Rushing the opponent for sure is going to be a big one here. I think that is probably the easiest path for UNM to kind of win.
Yeah, along those lines, I don't think you need a big game from Jack move the chain lane.
No,
I think you need a safe game.
I think you need Jack to maybe take some chances with legs a couple times and all that as well. But sure, I think. I'll give you this too as well. This is not a key. A lot of people are asking. I didn't ask a ton of injury questions last week because it's the bye week and all that, and it's kind of off the schedule a little bit. People were asking about James Lobstein, though. James Lobstein, too, for what X said today, is a guy that they're kind of like hopeful they're going to get him back, but not 100% sure. Same thing with A. Williams as well. So kind of some injury updates there.
So you're still going to see a lot from Jack Move the Chain Lane. I'll throw the nickname in the second time.
You were always going to see a lot from Jack Move the Chain Lane. The other keys, I think you got to get pressure on Brousseau, and I think you got to be really effective there as well. This is a Colorado State team that hasn't done an awesome job protecting the quarterback. So I think if the edge guys and some of the guys in the middle can really kind of get to work there and have a good day, I think that'll be big as well, and kind of throw just get things behind the chains. And this is not a Colorado State offense. That's very good converting late downs. So I think getting them into those spots, those third and longs, will be big. And then it's the key kind of for every game for UNM too. They're just learning how to play clean, semi-clean games at this point. Keep that going. Don't turn the ball over. Win the turnover battle. I think that will be the biggest thing. Eck gave a pretty good answer
Keep killing the elk.
Eck gave a pretty good answer too about I asked him about some of the CSU. He's lauding them for the what they kind of do pressure wise, and they're not afraid to be aggressive and zero pressure and all that as well. And I asked him, I was like, well, they have all these kind of pressure characteristics, but they're really not a great team sacking the quarterback. Why do you think that is? And he kind of gave a good answer about kind of the depth in which they play and how they send guys and all that as well, and how they send guys, I should say. That doesn't always result in a sack, but it might result in a turnover. They're a pretty good team forcing turnovers. I think they're a better team than they're not a better team than UNLV. UNLV is awesome at forcing turnovers, at least heading into that New Mexico game. So, yeah.
Got some good news for you.
What's up?
When the show's over, the video's up.
I'll never do that again. I don't know why I just did that. Lee's keys, but they're my keys.
Is that jazz hands?
Jazz hands. Lee's keys. I rush Colorado State.
Shoot the free throw.
Get pressure on Brousseau or Darius Curry, whoever's going to be back there. Frankly, just take advantage. You got to win that battle up front, and then turnovers.
They got playing quarterback this week. Bradley Van Pelt.
I was told by I had longer hair in the summer, and a couple of the Wyoming guys were like, dude, like if you were like a little taller, maybe you were like a dead ringer for Bradley Van Pelt. Yeah. And I was like, I don't believe that, but
I get that a lot for Brad Pitt.
I'll take that. Yeah.
Does that get a statue with 10 wins? Royce wants to know.
I
don't think he'll get a statue.
I don't think it's a statue. 11 wins.
Maybe a bobblehead. Maybe we get an Eck bobblehead before we get a Sean and Geoff bobblehead. Jeff Barnard is in. Jeff, I was a fan of yours before, but after your attendance gate with Boise State,
Chartgate
hero stats. Yeah, the Chartgate issue.
Yeah, I didn't get to finish this point. Oh wait, Susie Reider, Lobos will beat Colorado State by 12. Interim coach at CSU, and that is all I have to say.
We got to start a Riding with Reider picks segment, which aren't your picks at all.
No, because you do your daughter, I'll just do my mom. Yeah, exactly.
You do your picks every week through your mom, and I'll do my picks with my daughter and her coin flip every week.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What point were you? Did I?
Interrupt I did not. I was not
talk about my cats.
No, I was not like locked into like Twitter for a lot of the week. I watched it. I watched a crap load of games. Like that's what I was doing for the most part.
Crap load.
Yeah, I almost said something else, but that's what I was kind of doing in that regard, spending the bye week like that, But I didn't really I wasn't like on Twitter a ton. I kind of made a point. I shut off like the app notifications on that as well, and I was so confused. I was like, why is everybody so worked up about like the high school chart that Grammer put out? Like, what's going on here? And then I see like Jeremiah Dickey's commenting it, and then you and Beige, man. Yeah. Like, dang. It's a cold world, man.
It's my ethics and lack thereof.
It's a cold world.
Broomfield, there you go. Thanks, Ski. I knew it was northern Denver. Yeah, there we go. All right, Jeff is in on YouTube. Any chance of the Lobos play against UC San Diego for men's basketball, even for an exhibition? Yeah, I think so. I think they would do that. Will there be a Mountain West Reider dinner this year? And will asterisks be the appetizer? It could be.
Riders Reads.
Yeah, forget Lee's Keys. It's Riders
Reads.
Hi guys, love the show. Mark, I appreciate you saying that.
I will say a lot of fans have asked me to keep picking against New Mexico, because the last two times I have picked against New Mexico, they have obviously just won outright and all that as well. I will be picking New Mexico this week, though. I'm not
win.
Yeah, to win. I'm not going to be going back and forth.
But are you going north of 2 touchdowns?
I might.
It's 14.5.
I'm not encouraged by what I've seen out of Colorado State at this point. This is not, and I'll tell you this. I really don't. I think some guys.
Have you seen their attendance?
I think some interim guys have a good have a good grip on the situation. I don't know if I'm really inspired by just the whole product I'm seeing in a lot of respects.
I'm hearing Lobos by 1 million.
A gazillion.
That's it.
Is that it?
That's it.
Did we clear the entire?
That's it.
Did we clear the entire? That's all.
Only 100 or so comments. That's it.
Well, shout out once again. We can't thank him enough, Fern, for coming on. That was phenomenal. I don't know how many ADs would do something like that. Frankly, that's just pretty awesome. In a lot of respects. Man,
I agree. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Royce chimed in with the. At this point, shouldn't we go undefeated and beat San Diego State at home? They should. Just you know what? Try. Go for it. They should try and win those games.
They should absolutely try and win those games. I think they will. I
still won't go as far as to say they beat San Diego State.
Did you read about the Mississippi high school coach that got banned and fined for tanking the game to get into a separate playoff bracket?
No,
that's crazy.
Interesting.
Wild. No, they should try and go undefeated. And I think I wouldn't say I feel amazing about it, even though I know some fans have given me guff and all that because I picked against them and all that as well too.
Guff.
Give me guff. Old O-line coach.
Wow. Giving me guff.
Give me guff.
15-year-old sounds like a.
I still think I think this is the easiest opportunity that they have left. It's not easy to win a football game, obviously, and all that as well too. Coaches will say it a million times over and over and over again. But again, I haven't been particularly inspired by what I've seen. I think UNM is clearly the better team heading into this matchup, and they should be able to play like that and take care of business. Do I think it changes a whole lot, even if they're 14.5 point favorites and they win by 3? I think you just take the dub at that point and redial and just get back into it. I will be curious to see how UNM does respond out of the bye. They responded awesome in the second half against New Mexico State. They weren't pitch perfect against New Mexico State in the first half by pretty much any stretch, but they were able to kind of wrestle control back and make things happen there. So if something like that happens again, I will be kind of interested to see how that plays out. And yeah.
All right,
I don't know, but I think Air Force is I don't think Air Force is a gimme by any stretch. I think that's going to be a tougher game than I think people are giving it credit for. And I think San Diego State is really interesting at this point because I felt that there was a chance that UNM could beat them. Even the way they were kind of showing before, they're just dominating games defensively. And then Hawaii kind of ripped them, over the weekend, obviously on the island, of course. So that changes things, but yeah, a lot of interesting couple weeks ahead, man.
Did want to point out something here. I don't care what Sean says either. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Let's see here.
This guy respects how good of a time Tomeo Pons is having.
Yeah, yes, he does. See what I'm bringing up to the stage here?
No, I have no idea. Oh,
this is the NMPA, New Mexico Press Association Better Newspaper Award.
You're going to make me blush.
Daily Newspaper Class 1, first place. Sports writing, Sean Reider.
It's pretty crazy.
Yes, that is.
Pretty crazy.
Did you know that I got that picture? Do you know where I got that picture?
Lucas Pierman?
No.
Where'd you get it?
Sent an email to your mom and said, "Hey, can I get that picture you had posted?" And because she had it up on her story.
You sent an email to my. Oh, that's right. You guys follow each other on Instagram. That's right. Why didn't you just ask me?
I didn't want you to know I was going to post about it.
Yeah, well, thank you for this. Thank you to the NMPA, the Wyoming Press Association, Lucas Pierman, our awesome staff at the Journal, all the readers, the most important people probably in the whole deal. You guys are great.
Michael Buckley, come on.
And yes, that is the most important guy, Michael Buckley,
for being already, right?
For being really great, telling that story last year. That was a very cool story to write, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. So I do have I think I have a pretty fun read coming out this week too. That is more in the style that Buckley story is as well. So keep your eye on out for that.
I got nothing fun coming. All right.
No.
rapid fire, and we really are signing off this time.
Dutcher said he doesn't want to play the crit.
That is correct. He doesn't want to play in the pit. He doesn't want to play elevation games in non-conference. Geoff, what's going on with basketball attendance? Feels a bit empty. Same numbers as same numbers as it was early last year, even. So I wouldn't worry too much yet. They also have a higher fan base or season ticket base than last year. But yeah, the actual attendance seems a little choppy, a little empty maybe. Can we also get bowl predictions where UNM will play? New Mexico Bowl is the prediction, I think.
New Mexico Bowl is the prediction. If they win the Mountain West Championship, then let's talk. But let's just go with the New Mexico Bowl for right now.
Well deserved, Sean.
Thank you, Adam. Yeah, no celebratory fruit right now for the award, but we'll see what happens. Are we cleared? Are the decks cleared?
The decks are cleared.
Wow. Pretty crazy. I did have Eck did say that there was no obstacles for fans to not be at the game this weekend. The weather is going to be great. I don't think he accounted for fans coming out of town, as one of my as a follower noted in quoting that tweet. Obviously, there's a lot going on with the air traffic controller. So there is actually one obstacle.
There's a literal obstacle.
One literal obstacle to think about. Obviously, the government shutdown is coming to an end, but it's not like it's going to fix itself overnight with air traffic controllers and all that as well. So
what could go wrong?
I don't even want to think about it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Grammer,
I will see you guys in about 3 hours. I'll do a pregame show in the pit.
You've doubled up the last 2 Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. If Grammer's going to be so nice to put this big old plaque with my name on it up, I do got to give him a lot of credit. Absolutely crushed the last Tuesday night election show, mayoral race, a bunch of other races.
I made the election happen.
That was pretty. I'll be completely honest. I didn't think it was going to go that smooth, and it went very smooth, man.
You aren't alone.
Dan Boyd was also awesome as well. Our other talented journal colleagues, Noah Kalabach, Avi Otterbrook. I mean, those guys were really good.
I'll sign off with this comment.
Small, of course, was excellent as well.
There was a comment, a little discussion afterwards, sort of a quick debriefing after the election night show in the newsroom last week, and the consensus was like, I didn't expect it to go that well.
Yeah.
That was pretty much what everyone thought.
Yeah.
Wow, that went pretty well. I didn't think it was going to be any good. So
yeah. Thank you to everybody for tuning in to that as well. But Grammer deserves a lot of credit for that, because it wasn't that he didn't just show up and
the big bucks.
He didn't just show up and just start talking to him. Like, there was a lot more that went into that before. So yeah, ton of credit to him for that.
I might have to do a runoff from Virginia. I'll be covering the VCU game.
Are we going to run it back?
We're going to run it back, and I'm going to be in Richmond, Virginia that night. And there's a possibility that I, from a hotel room in Richmond, will be manning the switches. And yeah, talk to you later, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys in a few hours.